Now, some people opposed the privatization of Chile's social security system. The Century Foundation, as I found an article that was totally against it. They claimed that volatility was a problem. And here's some numbers that they put in there. From 1985 to 1991, the average return was 16.6%. It peaked from 89 to 91 at 35%. In 1995, the returns fell to a negative 2.5%. So, yeah, some years the fund's going to do really well, and in some years it's going to do crappy. And that's just the way investment and securities markets work. You can run 5-year stretches that are great. You can run 3, 4, 5-year stretches that you lose money. But anyone who has the most basic education in the investment of securities knows that in the long run, you're going to average about 10% in the stock market. And sure enough, the one AFP that's been around since 1981 has a lifetime rate of return of 10.35%. No surprises there. Alright, so one of the other things that they were talking about was that the new system has high expenses. Well, of course, it's more expensive to put money to work than it is simply to take it out of your pocket and hand it to somebody else. That's just the reality of the game. What's important to point out here, though, is that the returns outpaced the additional expenses. So this point is moot. Now, the Century Foundation also pointed out that there was evasion and underreporting in the system. And this is a real problem, but the problem is created by the socialist part of the system, not by the capitalist part. And let me explain. The system guarantees that anyone who pays in for at least 20 years will receive a minimum retirement benefit, even if they don't pay in enough to get that benefit. Some feel that they won't pay in enough to exceed that minimum, so they try to hide their income so that they don't have to pay in at all. There's a simple fix for this, and it's similar to what we did with welfare. What it is you create a system that allows the low-income people to grow their retirement with every dollar that they pay in, regardless of what the minimum benefit is. Everything that they pay in is going to add at least something to it. They might not get a dollar for dollar match, because eventually you're going to have to phase this out as people's income grow, but every dollar that they pay in should grow their retirement income. And that problem would just go away. Another problem that they talk about is that there's inadequate coverage under the new system. Well, the new system, average pensions are 50 to 100% higher than the old system. So if there's inadequate coverage today, what was the coverage like under the old system? This argument is pointless. They talk about high transition and supplementary costs, and we already talked about how Chile financed those before. That turned out to just not be a problem. So what are the long-run effects of privatization, or what might they be for the United States? Well, in the U.S., GDP per capita is $43,500 per year. So if somebody was earning what the average GDP is and saved the 10% from age 22 to 62 and a half, they would have accumulated about $2 million. This would allow them an income of anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000 a year. Remember, before they were making $43,500. Now they get $50,000 to $100,000, and it just depends on what their risk tolerance is, what their income would be. And this income would be not drawing down any principal at all. They would have the $2 million when they die to pass on to one of their 2 kids, and the other parent could pass it on to the other 2 kids. In America, a woman on average has 2.09 kids. So they would have that money, $2 million per kid, to pass on. After several generations, everyone would be born into multi-millionaire families. Woo! Alright, so this opens up some questions. Aggregate wealth is measured in dollars, of course, but real wealth is in land, products, and knowledge. Wealth is grown only when we increase these assets, not not just dollars. So will people really be able to retire when they're younger? Who'll do the work, and how much will we have to pay to get millionaires to work? I mean, come on, you're going to work, you got all this money, right? Is this growth in money also a growth in assets, or is it inflation? Alright, so here's some possibilities of what might actually happen. As society's assets become more productive, that society requires fewer workers. Retirement accounts make it possible for people to own these assets. After several generations, maybe most of us won't have to work. I would assume that most people probably would work out of choice because they want to either earn a higher income or they have a passion for something that they want to do. But factories today are becoming very much Star Wars-like. People are being replaced by computers and robots every day. So it is possible that most of us won't have to do a lot of work.